Morning everyone, hope you're all doing well. We've got a few projects on the go simultaneously, but in this video I'm going to be changing the oil on the Vincent Rapide. Here are just a few of the items I'm going to use for the oil change. So I've got my oil, nice supply of oil. This is the Valvoline VR1 that I use, racing oil. It's got the extra zinc. This was recommended by my friends in the Vincent Owners Club. And I've been using that since I rebuilt the bike. Got my little squirty can there to prime the chamber when I put the oil filter back in. And then talking of oil filters, I've got a new oil filter that I'll show you. Going to prime that to start with by immersing it in oil. And then just a couple of spanners, wrenches. This one in particular, this one is used not only to get the rocker cover caps off to begin with, but also to undo the chamber nut. And then I've gone back, read manuals, gone back on the forum as well, just to make sure that I get all the steps correct. And what I've also done, put a little cheat sheet together, and I'll put this in the description. And so if you see that I miss anything, especially anything critical, please let me know, and I'll make sure that I update the steps in the description of the video. Okay, well, we're just going to start by priming the oil filter by immersing it in oil. And one very important detail I should let you know about, it has to be orange marmalade. I think I used curry last time, just wasn't as effective as orange marmalade. So we'll drop that in here. Hope we don't displace it all. And we'll just let that soak for a little while. The next step is to remove the 4 rocker cover caps. I've already loosened these off. And the reasons are, well, there's 3 reasons. The first one is I'm going to be squirting some oil down here into the pushrod tubes to reprime the engine with oil after I've changed the oil. The second reason is I'm going to anneal these copper washers, possibly, or use other washers, because they do leak a little bit, and so I'm going to take a look at the washers. The third reason is I'm probably going to leave the caps off for a little while so that I can check the tappets, adjust the valves. And in some cases you have to turn the engine over so that they don't catch. I also like to keep these in the right order so that they fit appropriately, and I actually put a number inside the cap to show the corresponding number that matches here. One thing I'm not going to do is remove that stop valve union that goes up into the underside of the upper frame member, the UFM. I already did that and cleaned that out when I rebuilt the bike, and I'll do that maybe part of a more comprehensive service later. The next step is to remove this Acorn type nut from what they call the oil feed jet holder. There's a jet down there, and then this will allow me to squirt oil down here again so that I can prime the bike. And this is a 1/4 of an inch width. Oh, I almost forgot, another important tool for this job is our official oil catch tray. In this case, Rose's chocolates, and I have to tell you, I worked very hard over Christmas to make sure that this box was empty for this oil change. So this next step is to remove the oil from the UFM, the upper frame member, by removing this banjo bolt down here and letting the oil flow here into this catch tray. Here we go. Well, I'm making a meal of this. It's a little tight up against the wall of the crankcase. And I've tried an opening spanner, but the exhaust is in the way. Ow! And my fingers are not strong enough. Hello, it's the next morning and the oil tank is empty. So the next job will be to drop all the oil out of the sump by undoing this drain plug here. Alright, that's all the oil out of the sump. I'm just going to take a look at this drain plug. It's got a magnetic tip on the end of it. You can see just a little bit, mostly just sludge, a little bit of sludge. Here again. I'll anneal this washer as well before I put it back on. The next job is to remove this magneto cowl cover, and it exposes the oil filter chamber behind it. There would have been quite a bit of oil in the chamber, but that will have drained out with the sump oil into this pan. This is a fussy little job actually. I've always been interested in the design of it, the way it's held on with these two nuts through a rod at the bottom. What I also do is I cable tie this cowl on the rod to the front kickstand. That's the cowl off now, and it exposes the oil filter chamber underneath. Probably sacrilege to polish this, but I did anyway because it looks cool, and anyway it's covered up by the cowl anyway. This is the wrench that takes this big brass nut off, and you may remember when I was doing the rebuild that some of these spanners are a little too thick, and so I ground this down just so it would fit into this curvature here of the crankcase. Thought those were little deposits there, but actually it's just the casting, a rough casting. Next I'm going to remove this banjo fitting that goes on the other side of the oil filter chamber.